Hey folks, this is Sam Roberts.
Hey, this is Kim Mitchell.
This is Hannah Georges.
This is Matt Mews.
This is Derry Graham from Honeymoon Suite, and you are listening to...
You're listening to
The
Hulk Caesar Show.
Welcome to the Hulk Caesar Show. I am your host, Hulk Caesar, and with me as always is, she's not here. Emily's away this week. We'll see her next week. I am, of course, joined by my co-host, the Blackjack, Dickie Strickland. Dickie, what's happening?
Zit.
Our guest tonight is one of the most trusted and recognizable voices in Newfoundland and Labrador. As a journalist and anchor with Canada's superstation, NTV, she's been telling the stories that shape our province, from breaking news to the things happening in your very own city. With regular features like Backstage Pass and Your Community, you've probably seen her out in the wild shooting segments. Amanda Mews, welcome to the Hulk Caesar Show.
Wow, that was an incredible intro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're very happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
We're going to chat with Amanda about how she got her started in journalism, what sorts of stories she's been working on lately, and what she gets up to in her free time. Not only that, a little later on, we'll be joined by our musical guest, Selina Boland, who'll perform a short set for us live in our Hot for the Moment studios high above Posey Row in downtown St. John's, Newfoundland. Let's get to it.
Amanda, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, before I get to the first question, I want to start with a first question. Your last name is Mews.
Yeah.
Rhymes with news.
Meant to be, obviously.
Yeah, was that
I
like
never even
when
thought
you were,
about that.
right? When you were a kid, were you like, my last name rhymes with news, I just have to do the news? Have you ever thought about going all the way and changing your name to Amanda News?
Ooh.
So and then everyone knows what you're about all the time.
You know what? That actually happened in captioning quite a bit when we had an
Really?
automatic captioner.
yeah, I
It
could
would be
see that
Amanda
happening.
News when it would come up in captioning.
That's hilarious.
It's also very difficult to not sound sing-songy when you're doing a sign-off. So if you notice, I never say, really, Amanda Mews for NTV News, because it just sounds
You should do that,
cheesy.
though.
You know, I try
Catchy.
to break up the
I like it.
cadence. I don't know.
I think you got to do it. But the actual first question is, you started out in theater and drama, then you moved to journalism. Who does that?
Weird little transition there, actually. You
Yep.
go from sort of being a part of fictional stories to telling, real nonfiction stories and having yourself completely removed from the story. So it actually started, I was going to be a guidance counselor, believe it or not, and a theater teacher. That was what I was planning on doing. And realized I would have had to teach for a couple years, and my mother's a teacher, my sister's a teacher. July and August look real nice, but I was like, I don't know if I could do that.
Seems like it could be a bit much sometimes.
Yeah.
It takes a very special. I have the mad respect for teachers and especially teenagers.
And not as
high
much
school.
for journalists. Is that what you're saying? Here on
You're
record?
putting me on the record. No, listen. The journalists are the best people, and what I love about here too is like CBC, NTV, the Telegram, VOCM. There's so few of us that it's like this interesting camaraderie, like some healthy competition, but so good. I have so much respect for journalists, big time. But that wasn't my goal. I was going to be a theater teacher, then a guidance counselor. I went and I was doing an English major with a theater specialization.
Right.
I did theater in school, loved it, drama. And all of a sudden I saw this advertisement it was a diploma in performance and communications media. And there was some crossover of courses. So I was thinking, okay, I could do my 5-year program, and for an extra 2 years, I'll have like a diploma on top of that. So I was really just thinking about it like that.
Yeah.
And I
Where
went
was
into
this?
it.
Where'd you go to school?
This was MUN, actually, and it was at the time it was between MUN and CBC. They've since broken up the program, and now I think there's a communications program and a film studies program. But at the time, it was meshed. So it was half of it was theater, but half of it was camera work and stuff. So we worked with CBC. Jonathan Crow taught us a class, and we did short films, docs, and news. So news was just one part of that.
Right.
Did you work out of that studio? I got a tour of the studios over there last year, and it was like that studio, the big studio in the basement of one of those buildings.
Man, we did a little tour, but I did not. It is a very cool building. I mean, NTV is obviously cooler, but yeah, CBC is a pretty cool building.
Oh,
too.
sorry, not CBC. The old CBC part of MUN. There's like an old studio where they used to shoot the TV shows down in MUN. Maybe this was like in the 70s or so.
No, it's funny. I don't remember that, but there was a guy that would do a professor that would do his professing from down there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
in like a little booth. And
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
And did you call it? We learned a cool word recently.
Oh, J School.
J School. Yeah, Adam Walsh told us that one. J
See,
School.
I don't know.
You don't
how
know?
I feel.
He sounded really cool saying it.
He did sound cool.
But is he trying to sound cool or does
It was,
he sound
it was working.
Was it working?
I think
He's
he
a
was
very
trying
cool
it.
guy. Adam's pretty cool. I have heard J School. I think, for me personally, I always feel a bit of imposter syndrome because technically I didn't go to journalism school because I didn't do a journalism program. I did sort of a mix of film, television, production, communications all together. So I didn't get to do the actual J School.
So does that mean that none of the interviews you've done have counted?
I'm uncredited.
Okay.
I'm not
That's too
approved
bad.
to do this job. But no, I love it. And when I did that, I decided I liked being kind of behind the camera more than on stage. I like the editing and the creative storytelling that way.
Nice.
So when a part of that program was you get an internship. So I was supposed to do an internship. I think I got offered Pope Productions at one point. And for some reason, I was really interested in producing live television. I was like, this is exciting. And adrenaline, I want that. So I went to NTV, not to be on TV. That was not my plan. I wanted to be a producer. I'm a chase producer and that kind of thing, floor director. They didn't quite have those positions. So I sort of was a PA. I started off at the time we had tapes, actual small I sound so old. I swear.
I got to be older than everybody here.
I was going to say, I think
We're going to talk about
Just get PA
NTV.
work.
We're going to talk about NTV after the break.
Ooh.
But how do you find coming up in theater and drama? Do you find the skills that you learn in that translated really well to television?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes and no.
It's more technical, I guess, being on camera for news type stuff, is it?
Yeah, and it's easy to overdo it if you're performing. On theater, you're used to sort of moving your face and being more animated, and that's something you don't really need in news. But one thing it does help me with is when I get nervous, I just kind of switch on and I pretend I'm playing Amanda Mews, who does the news.
yeah, you're still. It's still a bit of a performance, right?
There
I don't
is
want
a performance
I don't like
element.
to use that word, but
It is. It's so true. There's a bit of you're taking yourself and sort of emphasizing it. What would I be
Right.
like if I was confident? What would I be like if I, knew I had all the answers and was super intelligent? And I just kind of channeled that.
yeah.
So there is a performance element. So I guess it has helped.
And were you a bit of a news junkie growing up at all? Did you have any famous or favorite journalists that you kind of admired?
Okay. Guys, I had the biggest crush on Carl Wells. Huge.
I hate to tell you, but
I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. Someone actually, I think, knew, and I had on my desk at one point, a viewer or someone I had interviewed had known, and they had dropped off this old picture of Carl from the 70s.
Amazing.
Or the 80s, whenever it was with the stash and everything.
So good
And
looking.
yeah, it was great.
It's amazing. He sent us his book last week.
He did, yeah.
And he's going to come be a guest on the show and talk about it in a little while.
and we were gonna tell him about this crush
Yeah,
that you had.
definitely.
I kind of forgot that, yes, this is forever now. Oh, I do. But when it comes to journalists, I wasn't super into news. I used to, there's a tape floating around when I was a kid of actually pretending I was on the news because I was theatrical.
Right,
So I
right.
pretended to be on the news. I would do that type of thing. But it wasn't until I would say university, you get more aware of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of realize, stuff's happening.
Yeah.
And then I got a little more interested, and I think I was just about to go into, where was it? Was it before my internship? Yeah, I think it was around the time of my internship when the Cougar flight went down. And I remember the way that everyone just kind of rallied. And of course, 9/11 before that, when I was in high school. So those big news events, I think later looking back, I'm like, there's people that rally and kind of I don't know, helping society in a way that might make me sound really cheesy, but I don't know. I do like that. But Carl Wells was it for me.
Amazing.
That's nice. That's cool.
All right, well, let's take a quick break from their live performance on the program back on April Fool's Day. Here are 3/5 of the amazing band with Violet and their track Not News on the Hulk Caesar Show.
Blow my mind, make my day, take my breath away. I'm sick of hearing the same old thing. Is anybody listening to me? I want a little less blue and a bit more sunshine. You know it's true. No, it's it's not news that I love you. It's not news that the sky is blue and grass is green. We've seen it all before. No, it's not news that the birds head south when the snow starts falling next to my old house. It's not news we don't live there anymore. So before you go, tell me something that I don't know. Blow my mind, make my day. Take my breath away. So what you gonna do with the same old thing sitting in your pocket yesterday? I got a little less blue and a bit more sunshine 'cause of you. Yeah, you know that's true. No, it's not news that I love you. It's not news that the sky is blue and grass is green. We've seen it all before. And no, it's not news that the birds head south when the snow starts falling next to my old house. It's not news we don't live there anymore. So before you go, tell me something that I don't know. It's not news that the sky is blue and grass is green. We've seen it all before. And no, it's not news that the birds head south when the snow starts falling next to my old house. It's not news we don't live there anymore. So before you go, tell me something that I don't know. Blow my mind, make my day. Take my breath away.
Welcome back to the Hulk Caesar Show, brought to you by the Resource Center for the Arts at the LSP Hall. We're talking with NTV's Amanda Mews. Amanda Mews with NTV News. Amanda, you've been involved with NTV since 2009. Can you tell us a little bit about your early days with Canada's Superstation?
Ooh, Canada's Superstation. Yes. So it was 2009. I started my internship there. Fred Hutton was the news director at the time.
Nice.
I basically did whatever needed to be done because I only had, I can't remember how many weeks, like 3-4 weeks of this internship, but I really wanted to stay there once I started working there. And so I would kind of just find things to do. At the time we had tape, beta tape.
Yeah.
It looked like a mini VHS.
Yeah, my dad got really into beta, and we didn't get a VHS for a long, long time because he hung to it. He used to drive us down to Dildo to rent beta tapes.
I mean, how long were beta tapes a thing, though? I thought it was a blip.
The first movie I bought on VHS was Naked Gun 33 1/3. That should tell you.
I love the Naked Gun movies. Oh, that's funny. Oh, my gosh. I totally lost where we were.
Tapes, your internship.
Oh, yes, my internship. There we are. Okay, so I started my internship, and I was there basically doing whatever I could do. Originally I wanted to be behind the scenes and do producing and that sort of thing, which I still love. Editing's still one of my favorite parts of the job for sure.
So you edit your own stories?
I do, yeah.
Cool.
Yep, I edit all my own stuff and I book everything and produce everything.
What do you edit in? What program do you edit in?
We use Premiere Pro.
Yep.
Yeah. That's nice. But we did go through a little bit of a transition. That was one thing actually going back to when I started. So I started, and at the time they were just getting in Velocity was the editing software at the time. And I was trained in digital editing from school. So I was one of the first people to do it. So that's kind of how I would show reporters how to use it. And I would, that was a part of what it was. I would take feeds, which means like get tape fed through from like Ross Tilley and the Burin Peninsula and Don Bradshaw. And I just have to sit there and like press play record because it was, it wasn't file transfers. It was literally like over a fiber, I guess, or something. So I would just black tapes for reporters because they were editing linearly. So you're going like stop, go linearly as opposed to like basically taking something off of a tape and putting it on another tape. Yeah. So you got your voiceover tape, your B-roll tape, and your interview tape or whatever, and you're just going cut. So very interesting. So in order to do that, you have to lay a control track down. So which is just pressing play record to make a black control track. So I just sat there and for many hours just pressed play record for 5 minutes, and I would label them and I would put them in a bookshelf, and that was what I did. And I actually merit that for the reason why I have my job, because reporters loved it.
Yeah.
And they were like so grateful because now they didn't have to do it. So I just tried to find little things.
It's the little
that people
things,
didn't
man.
want
It
to
is.
do.
That's what you got to do in something like that.
Yeah.
Is find something that no one else wants to do and do it.
And do it.
And you become invaluable.
People remember you for it.
Exactly. They're like, oh, don't let her go.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
makes my life easier. So that's sort of, I guess, how it got started. And then I did some camera, Charlie Pride was here. I did the camera for that interview. And I did some, production assisting type stuff and did some on air, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And it just sort of, the break happened, I suppose, when we had a new show, First Edition, come in, which was a new half-hour show. And then we needed, and then Tony Marie, I think because Glenn Carter did it at first. So we had a new half-hour show. Glenn Carter hosted that. A little while later, Eddie Shear came to do the weather, and then Tony Marie moved up into weather. So there was moved out of weather and onto the desk. And there was this gap for entertainment in like 2012. So Backstage Pass, that kind of thing. And then when Eddie started doing the weather, there were less weather hits. So that's kind of where the Your Community segment came from.
Oh, yeah.
So again, kind of just picking up the breadcrumbs and like filling in the spots. So I just filled in the voids for a little while until I sort of created my own little route. And it's exactly what I want to do, because it's a strange full circle moment, because I started out in entertainment, theater, arts, loved it, ate it up, little theater dork growing up big time. And now I get to like tell the stories of all those theater people and the stories of the film industry and the stories of musicians and artists. So it's just like I'm just on the other side of the fence now.
Yeah.
But it's really neat. I'm so lucky. And I got to say, NTV, they do let you do that. That's rare now, I think, where you can kind of go start from the bottom and just sort of like do stuff.
Yeah.
And get your, I can't thank them enough for sure.
You just mentioned your community segment, and you've been out at a lot of community events over the years, of course. Do you have any? What's your most memorable or your favorite experiences?
Ooh, so I would have to say the dildo adventure. Wow,
I want to know what that is
reword
right
that.
now. You have to
Don't
explain that
Google it.
immediately. Do not say another word.
The town of dildo adventure.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, that was a little community hit that turned into just a crazy period in Newfoundland and Labrador, I got to say. When went there, my camera, Glenn Andrews, who's my camera operator a lot of the time, love him. We have a great chemistry when it comes to, he shoots, I edit. I know how he shoots. He knows how I edit. And it's just this, it's great when you have that, because you just don't have to think, and we have good synergy. So he actually has family from Dildo, and it was Dildo Days. And he was like, Amanda's Dildo Days. And
Don't
I was like,
Google
that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, interesting. I'm going to keep that in mind, because there's a funny story about the Kimmel thing and that too.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we just went out to Dildo. Beautiful, beautiful town. Absolutely loved it. Had a great chat. And that was it. I thought, okay, great. We did a couple stories. And then all of a sudden we get this call from we saw it on Jimmy Kimmel. Like I was rowing at the time, and someone was like, oh, there's, do you know your piece was on Jimmy Kimmel last night? And I was like, what? Like, the dildo story? It's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, weird. And then you're like, cool, but okay. And then it was on like the next night, and it was like a couple nights in a row. And then they're like calling down to get footage, I was like, oh, this might actually, kind of be a thing. And anyway, so, I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole story because it's probably boring. Oddly enough, I tell stories for a living, but I'm bad at it when I don't have a piece of paper in front of me.
I'm having a great time.
Okay, are you? Great, okay. So basically, this all erupts. And they're calling down, so we're sending up some footage, and I'm in talks with one of the producers on the show, because I'm helping again, it works out because since I had a technical background, because I started with NTV behind the scenes, so I was the one that would just fix things that would break. We had a software come in. I was the first person to learn how to use it.
It's been my life.
Prompter. It's really good. When people are like, I need it, and you can help them, very good for job security. So So I was that person as well. And so back and forth. And then I don't know if I made the comment or if they made the comment. I was like, what if we went, or no, maybe it was him. It's funny how this was such a pivotal moment in my life, but details like this are scanty. But I know what it was. He wanted to do a segment with wondering if we could go there, I think, or something. He wanted to do some kind of a segment where we would be connecting, and I suggested going there. And long story short, I think I called. He said, sure. And I said, but I need an interview. Like, I can't just come and, like, if I go and don't get an actual interview with Jimmy Kimmel to air on the news, I can't just go as a prop,
Right.
I'm not just gonna, So he's like, well, I can't really promise anything. And I'm like, well, that sucks. But then I'm like, well, if I'm there, how are they gonna say no?
Yeah.
So I called my boss, and it was like 9:30 on like a Friday night or something. And he was just like, I was like, so can I go like to Hollywood to this thing? He's like, sure, girl. Yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, really? Okay, I'm going to book this before. So it was 2 days because they wanted me there on Sunday. So I had 2 days to get everything together. And we get there, and it was a wild experience because I was thinking this will either be a good thing or end my career. Like, there's really no in between there.
Right.
It's very much like I could be a meme.
Yep.
I could turn into a meme.
That's very true.
I'd love to be a meme.
That was, but not a dildo girl meme. You don't
true, I
want that
guess.
meme.
No, you don't.
I kind of do.
You do? Okay.
Wouldn't go bode well for my profession.
He will take any meme, I guess. That's yeah.
Well, yeah, but yeah. So I was
No matter how big
that
or
was
small.
scary.
I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, nice. But that was definitely the biggest thing. And then when we had to do the actual part, he wanted to do the bit where he comes out, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it's just me in this like press thing, and he's holding a press announcement. But I thought we would rehearse it, and he's like, and then I'm hearing from all his people when I'm in Hollywood at this time and at Kimmel Studio, and someone's like, no, he doesn't want to rehearse. He wants it to be just like real. I'm like, real, okay. Real. I'm like sweating profusely at this point because I showed up and I sent him, or the producer, a bunch of questions because I said, come up with some questions. So I sent a bunch of questions, and they picked 3 or 4 and said, we're going to do these 4. So I thought we were going to talk about it and he would actually answer the question, but he didn't. So then I'm going in blind. So I'm sitting there and I'm asking him a question, or I'm asking him a question. And he just, like, one of them was, I think whatever the question was, I wish I could remember it. It was all such a blur. It was such an out of body experience. And all he came back with was, does your mother know what you do for a living? And I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I want to die in a hole right now. This is international television.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And it just went on, and thankfully it was okay. But that was probably, that was a big.
You guys like
big-
best friends now? Like, you call each other before you go to bed and chat about your day?
I did meet his aunt at the hotel, and I gave her some chocolate.
Nice.
Really?
So I think we're besties.
That sounds pretty
Does she just live at the hotel or something?
She was there for the show, Aunt Nippy. He pranks her all the time, apparently. So she was there, whatever, and I didn't know. We were outside, and it was a beautiful night, and she was there, and we got to chatting, and found out she was Aunt Nippy. So I had some Newfoundland chocolate that I meant to give to Jimmy Kimmel, but through all the craziness, had totally forgotten to give
Right.
it to him. So I just gave it to her. I was like, here's some chocolate. And then there was pictures on the, like, Jimmy Kimmel, and she's got like the row house chocolate bag. She's got the
That's cool.
Newfoundland chocolate factory bag.
That's
Which
great.
wasn't, I should have went after them actually for a little bit of like,
Yeah, there you go. We'll go after him now because they got mentioned on the show.
Yeah. We're
Sorry.
coming for you.
I totally gave some great publicity for them.
All right, let's take a quick break, and Amanda will tell us all about herself when we come back. A few weeks ago, Liam Peacock joined us, play some songs from his new EP, A Face on a Paper Bag. You can hear more from Liam, including the story behind this next track on that episode. It's Liam Peacock live with Devils in the Driveway on the Hulk Caesar Show.
Every day you see a stranger, you describe them as strange. From the color of their clothing to the way they show their age. But it's all in the background, a person in their place, acting out their station and putting on their face. But I can't figure out what the man in black is doing here. Looks like the devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Looks like the devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Standing there passing out frozen treats and dressed all wrong for the dog day heat. The devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Every day there's a disturbance with the neighbors enraged, with the knocking and the yelling and the conflict she'll engage. Slipping out the back door every time I leave the house, hoping I don't see her, but I can't figure out what the curious figure dressed in black is doing here. Looks like the devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Looks like the devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Standing there passing out frozen treats and dressed all wrong for the dog day heat. The devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. He's leaving on foot up the Parkway Drive. The Mercury's moving past 35. The devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Looks like the devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Looks like the devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend. Standing there passing out frozen treats and just all wrong for the dog day heat. The devil's in the driveway, coming in the form of a friend.
We are back on the Hulk Caesar Show, brought to you by our friends at the Resource Center for the Arts at the LSPU Hall. Our guest this evening is NTV reporter Amanda Mews. Amanda, I want to know what it's like, before I get to this other thing, I want to know what it's like at your house at the dinner table, because a lot of people, when they come home from work, couples, relationships, they're like, oh, did you hear what happened today? Blah, blah, blah. And I just imagine like your partner saying that to you and you'll be like, obviously, and then not wanting to discuss the news at all. So what do you talk about?
That's really interesting. It's actually, yeah, I don't want to talk about the news when I get home, typically. But Jeff keeps up on current events. So, sometimes it is good. We talk a lot more about film. He's in the film industry.
Yes,
and
I'm aware,
I find, which is, you know him through that. And so we talk a bit about, I don't know, about that kind of stuff. I don't like to get into all the day's news. And also, which seems crazy, sometimes I don't even know what I am aware. Okay, I have a good sort of current affairs sense. But sometimes when you're hyper-focused on one story all day, you miss the entire plot of what the day was. So sometimes I get home and he might even ask me, so what was the top story today? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, what did you do today? And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. It's a weird, you're in such a hyper-focused state on what you're doing.
That's interesting. So you don't just automatically know all of the news going on.
No, and I don't think it's healthy to.
Right.
You know?
I know all the news.
Me too.
The interesting stuff. Sometimes you need to be aware without being engulfed in it, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
Do you like music? What kind of music do you listen to?
I have a weird. I love music. I have weird. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay?
Great.
Because sometimes I'm like,
We love honesty.
We're big fans of
brutal
honesty.
Do you know what I go to for comfort music?
What's that?
It's like classic country.
Classic
I go with
country.
like
Okay.
Willie Nelson.
Oh, yeah, I love that stuff.
Great.
You know,
Yeah.
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Conway Twitty in there.
Yeah.
Charlie Pride.
Yeah.
Charlie Pride.
Yeah.
Waylon
Yeah.
Jennings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chris Christopherson.
Chris Christopherson, the Austin Sessions, my favorite album. So I love that music, and I think it comes back to the storytelling element.
Yep.
But great thing about covering arts entertainment here is I get kind of exposed to a whole bunch of new artists, and like I know you played with Violet earlier. Love that band. Quote the Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Love those guys.
Former guest of the show.
Yeah. I like they're good. I put Ian Foster. Have you listened to his album? It's just it's Gossamer.
Yeah.
Gossamer's a song on the album.
Him and Nick Coltis Clark.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but we've talked about it on the show
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Nerve.
Right.
There we go.
Yes.
Nerve. Because it's almost like a film score, but you don't know what the film is. It's like it's just like cool music. And I'm really eclectic I go from, like classic country, but then I do love some folk or like Americana, toss on some Taylor Swift every now and then. And then I go into your like high school days when you listen to like whatever was popular back then.
I was going to ask you next, what sort of music did you listen to in high school?
Ooh. I had in high school, I had a vehicle, and my uncle gave it to me. Okay, because I had to drive. Like I lived in Birchie Bay, which is like I had to go to Lewisport, was the closest town for school in high school, and I got my license, so I had a vehicle, and it was this white sidekick or whatever, and it had duct tape, kept the gas thing on. It was a standard, and it had a tape deck, so
Nice.
so I could play tapes. So the only cassette tape that I could find that was kind of newish at like the CD store or whatever was a 50 cent. The Get Rich Die Trying.
Nice.
So I wore that cassette out, and I
hilarious.
loved it because the radio didn't work. Well, we didn't. I don't even know if we had any radio stations. Maybe Oz FM, but that might have been it. So I like that. I feel like whatever was kind of on the radio, I was definitely into that, as well as secretly listening to like Conway Twitty by myself.
Right. Yeah. I want to know how do you balance the demands of being a superstar journalist, superstar with staying grounded and healthy and stuff.
That's a really good question. Sometimes
Thank you. I thought of it.
That's really good. Sometimes I don't do a great job at it, to be honest. Sometimes it's weird when you go to like the grocery store or something, and it's usually when you're like, you slept in, your hair's a mess, you're kind of, just trying to get some bread or whatever. And sometimes making the distinction between your personal life and your private life, or your private life and your professional life, can be a little daunting because people think they know you.
Yeah, Eddie was talking about that when he's on the show.
Yes. Oh, poor Eddie. There are no boundaries. People. Yeah, God bless him. Yeah,
People love their
they love their meteorologist.
They do.
He is a
Like,
rock star.
I don't know. Is that a Newfoundland thing exclusively, or are people like that everywhere?
I think they're like it's to some
obsessed with
degree all
weathermen
over the place.
or weather women.
I feel like here, because our weather is so important to just our
Right.
daily life,
Yeah,
that
makes
maybe
sense.
that's a bit of it. I mean, when you think about it, growing up, Toni Marie Wiseman, superstar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carl Wells, superstar.
Yep.
Right? It's an interesting...
It is.
And I think it is different because I believe Eddie did mention that he's worked in markets in the States too, and there's so many more markets.
Yeah.
I think we're here, we only have like 2 stations.
Yeah.
Right.
And you only got like 3 Dominions, so there's a good chance someone's going to see
Yeah,
you.
exactly. You're star sighting more likely. But how do I think being mindful when I'm at work of consuming what I need to understand what's going on, and to allow myself to have the empathy that you need. I mean, obituaries are hard. I recently did one, for Mark Hiscock, and before that, Chris Ryan, who's, so there's sometimes you do those types of things, and you have to allow yourself to have empathy. You can't just block yourself off, but it's hard to close the valve afterward,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Right.
So And I'm lucky because I do mostly positive stories. But even sometimes positive stories, you can give so much emotional energy of your to like a situation. Even if it's just a really moving interview that you have, or you're in a classroom full of kids and they're all just like, "Meh," and you're just like, "Meh," because you got to match their energy to like get them to chill out, right? And then you get home and you're like, oh, like in a corner drooling. Not that bad. But so I find sort of, what's that word when you like almost like I gatekeep, or I make sure that I have a valve on my energy. That's a huge thing for me. So like I allow myself to give some energy, so I'm not just a cold brick, but also making sure that at the end of the day, I can sort of like shut the valve off and go home and just, release all that sort of emotional energy and just sort of relax. So a lot of times I'm an introvert, which is weird because what I do is very extrovert-y. And that's kind of where the performance element comes in, because I feel like when I'm performing Amanda, which I'm still me, but it helps me when I can kind of separate it. It also helps when you get negative feedback. Right. I think as a woman on the news, woman on the television, there's always, comments about, the funny one is, and God love it, it's usually little old ladies in like Dominion. And they're like, "Oh my, you look smaller in person." And you're like, "Oh, okay. So I look big on TV. Okay, it's cool." Which is fine, but you have to, people comment, because you're in people's homes every night, people feel like they have that sort of, and they oftentimes it comes from a good place. They're like, "I don't really like your hair. You should probably do something different."
People say stuff like that?
People call it, "Oh, it's really fun." Yeah, some people say, like,
not just on Reddit?
No, people are like, you get emails and stuff. It's like,
Do you get that very often, Dickie?
Oh, all the time. But obviously.
Your hair is great.
Obviously. All right. Well,
you get it all the time too, right?
I get it nonstop. I can't even go to the grocery store.
But yeah, you just gotta I think about, okay, they're sort of talking about the NTV Amanda, which isn't the at-home Amanda,
right?
If that makes sense, because
absolutely,
I don't care if you think TV Amanda has put on weight. I don't care if you think her hair is too long or too short or she's wearing too much makeup. Like, I don't care, because that's TV Amanda. So it's like I keep that sort of separate for me as well, which helps.
Good
Awesome
for you.
All right. Well, we better take a break and set up for the music here. Amanda, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again in a little bit. It's now time for a live musical performance brought to you by the Resource Center for the Arts at the LSPU Hall. Coming up next week, it's the Newfoundland and Labrador Sketch Comedy Festival, celebrating the best live scripted comedy this side of the pond. The second annual festival runs from May 13th to May 18th at the historic LSPU Hall in downtown St. John's, featuring 27 wildly funny sketch troupes and performers from Newfoundland and across North America. The festival features 6 jam-packed nights of side-splitting sketches, comedic songs, and off-the-wall characters. Check out www.lspuhall.ca for more information. Tonight's musical guest is a true Newfoundland original, an award-nominated singer-songwriter whose music blends folk roots with a modern edge. She's taken her sound around the world, from St. John's to Switzerland, and now she's ready for a brand new chapter in Montreal. But before she goes, she's saying goodbye the best way she knows how, with a string of shows here in St. John's and a brand new album, Take My Heart and Run. We're so thrilled to have her here. Selina Boland, welcome to the Hulk Caesar Show.
Thank you for having me.
What do you have for us first?
I'm going to play a new song that's not out there yet. It's called Lines.
Awesome.
I was sleeping. I was dreaming till you till you went silent. Till you went silent.
Amazing. So good.
Great.
I love the guitar in that one. So good.
Very cool.
Amazing.
Very cool. Your brand new album, Take My Heart and Run, cool title, by the way, is available now, right now. And what was your experience making that record, Selina Boland?
Oh, it was a good experience. It was a little bit different. Collaborated with some local musicians and not local musicians. Had it recorded with Claire Follett, and she produced it, and so did Christian Johansson, and Robert Kelly mastered it.
Nice.
And we had Rosemary Lawton came in and played violin on a couple of the songs, and Gina Burgess played. And
Awesome.
yeah, and my friend Dro Cardoso, we had him on guitar on the song Week East at Orion. He lives in Montreal, so I got connected with the community, the music community in Montreal when I was there, and I was just like, we started jamming out the song, and I was like, oh my gosh, you need to play on this. So he's on the album.
Great, that's really cool.
Amazing. You kind of cover a lot of genres, I feel, in your music. Like you got kind of that rock and pop, but you kind of got that like electronic feel in some of your songs. Like what's your process like for writing a song?
Whew. Well, it depends. If I'm like with my loop station with my loop station and my synthesizer, you know, it's going to be really different. So I call myself chalk when I do my electronic music where I loop up. So
And that music is out there too, right?
it is out there.
Cool.
Yeah, all on its own. Yeah, I released an album for Chalk in, I believe it was 2022.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's a process, and then the process of sitting down with my guitar, and you know, it just happens. You just catch a song in the air.
Do you have kind of a favorite genre to work on, or?
Electronic for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh yeah. 100%. Not that I don't like acoustic guitar, but I honestly am really drawn to strings. I really wish I could play violin or fiddle or something.
Yeah.
So when I have a violinist with me on stage, I just feel so powerful. I'm like, yes, like everything I need is right here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, could you introduce your next song for us?
Sure. This song is called Insatiable Minute, and it features Gina Burgess on this song. It's the last song on the album of Take My Heart and Run. And it was once a poem, and I turned it into a song.
Amazing.
Hours have passed, he has broken the code, but my sighs are too deep for him to grasp. He is a beautiful and delicate soul, a precious stone in an untouchable cave under the sea. And I could lie beside his temple under the singing stars, and there I could breathe life and adoration over every enchanting melody, and then shower him with holy tears. Holy tears. Just another insatiable minute longer. Just another insatiable minute stronger. Just another insatiable minute longer. Just another insatiable minute stronger. And he will make for me a bed of questions upon which I'll lay my head. And he will hum unmitigated angelic lullaby which causes me to fall asleep. Fall asleep. Just another insatiable minute longer. Just another insatiable minute stronger. Just another insatiable minute longer. Just another insatiable minute stronger. When I awake, I'll see him not rejected, estranged nor abandoned, but I must pay no heed, for my time will have come to an abrupt end. No, I must pay no heed, my time will have come to an abrupt end.
Amazing. So good.
Yeah, wow. That was,
Boy, you really nailed that note at the end there.
yeah, that went on forever. Oh my God. That was incredible.
Now, you recently announced your farewell shows as you're relocating to Montreal. What brought you to that decision?
What brought me to that decision? That's a great question. I spent most of the last 2 years in Montreal. I was there, more than I was in Newfoundland. And I kept saying, I'm going to move here because I've got a lot of friends there. I've got family there. And I was just like, I'm definitely going to move here. And I've been saying that since summer of 2023. And then finally, I was kind of forced to make a decision because my lease got terminated where I'm currently living, and just new buyers, whatever. And I was like, okay, I either have to sign a new lease somewhere here in Newfoundland, which is probably gonna have to be a year, or I leave. So
And
it's just like,
you got to kind of go to Montreal at the beginning of July, right? Because it's like moving month or something. Is that the way Montreal
right,
works?
it is.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, July 1st. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's kind of cool.
What does that mean? What are you
Everybody
talking about?
moves on July 1st. That's when leases begin and end in Montreal. So everybody moves on July 1st. If you're moving, that's
Really?
when you move.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's just such a great place. The music community there is fantastic, just like here.
Yeah.
Just super supportive, lots of places to play. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to live off music in Montreal.
Awesome.
I'm saying that right now out loud.
We hope that for you.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you.
Why don't you give us a rundown of your final shows here in the city?
Oh boy. Let me think. Okay, so
Nope.
I've got showcase, ECMA showcase tomorrow night at the Black Sheep.
Nice.
That's going to be at 11 o'clock. And then the following day, Friday night, I'm actually playing at the Jumping Bean Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Fifth Avenue. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah.
Kind of doing it for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Saturday, I am playing the Farmers Market at noon. And then on Saturday night, I'm playing at Casa Amigos restaurant. And then, I have shows until I leave. So, let's just put it
great.
this way. It's online.
Excellent.
Honestly, I can't even run through it all. But
Definitely. Excellent.
everywhere.
All right. Well, thanks to our friends at the Resource Center for the Arts at the LSPU Hall. We have time for one more song. Selina Boland, what's going to be?
I think I'm going to play Falling Through off my 2023 All These Hours album, also featuring Gina Burgess.
Awesome.
Don't you cry, my dear. There's no need to grieve. I am still right here. now you're falling. Oh, we could have given you strength, we could have given you. Oh, we could have given you warmth, we could have given you. I could have given you joy, could have given you. He's just got you falling in love, now you're falling. Never cast your pearls before the dirty swine. You're not of this world. You don't need a sign. Oh, we should have given you love, he should have given you. Oh, we should have given you trust, he should have given you. I should have given you hope, we should have given you. Jesus got you falling in love, now you're falling. Oh, we could have given you strength, we could have given you. Oh, we could have given you warmth, we could have given you. I could have given you joy, could have given you. Jesus got you falling in love, now you're falling through.
So good. Amazing.
Great work.
Selina Boland, thank you so much for tonight's performance. Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Anywhere music is sold, and Instagram, Facebook. I'm pretty active on Instagram, and SelinaBolandMusic.com.
Awesome. You can stick around over there for a few minutes and play a game with us?
Sure.
Excellent. Dickie?
It's time to play everybody's favorite game of questions.
Wow.
Caesar's Casual Conversations with tonight's guests, Amanda Mews and Selina Boland. We have refilled the commemorative E.T. the Extraterrestrial hat with questions. Choose one and answer it as much as you'd like.
Hey.
Or as, I didn't mean to say that so sternly, or ask to draw another one. Let's do it.
All right, and I'll let you know that these questions now, as I said every week, the first 100 were given to us by AI, and we went through that 100. So then I asked the same AI prompt to give me 100 more questions. So these are second-tier conversation questions from the AI.
Oh, okay.
Amanda, just go ahead and just pick one.
Oh, just pick one.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you read it out
Do we
and then
have
you
a
can answer
time
it.
limit? Because I ramble it.
They're a little shorter, but... You don't have to answer
Can I
it.
pick another
You can.
one?
You throw on the floor. Yeah.
Boo.
I know. Oh, I know. Okay, maybe let me see.
No pressure.
Can I pick another one, but hold on to this one?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's okay.
You going to take it home and answer it?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go with this one.
Okay.
We can put this one back for next
Okay.
someone else. Texting or calling?
Ooh.
That's a good one. Texting if you want me to answer, probably. But calling if... I don't know. Actually, I was like, this is a good question, but now I don't even know how to answer it. So I started answering it. Actually, calling, I think. Because texting, I feel, is very much for like... factual, let's get stuff done, let's plan a something. But if to have a real connection, I like something's nice about a phone call, but you got to text me first. Cold calls scare me.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
Yeah.
the phone ring. I want to be like, hey, up for a call? Then I'd be like, sure.
That's
And-
a generational thing, and the way we are in society now. If you've noticed over time, it's like everyone's afraid of phone calls suddenly.
right?
Yeah, like, I'm the same way. Yeah,
Which is weird because as a child, I mean, I would go to sleep and fall asleep on the
Yeah.
phone to my friends.
all I did was talk on the phone and watch
I
TV. Like,
And now, like, if someone shows up at the door, that's a whole other like kettle of fish.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
but yeah, getting a phone call, I'm like, oh my god, did someone die?
Yes, and that's the fear. You're like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Selena, what do you think?
I would go with like definitely calling. I really appreciate that. And in fact, my eyes are so fatigued just from like staring at my screen all the time and always having to be connected constantly. It's like oh, you know, I texted you like an hour ago when you didn't answer. It's like, well, call me. Like, I can't, like, what am I going to hear? Am I going to hear ding-a-ling or am I going to hear bing? Like, which one am I going to hear more?
Yeah.
I'm going to hear the ringing, right? So for me, calling all the way. I love it.
Dickie?
I mean, I'm a texting guy. I'm not a fan of phone calls, but I will say this person who I'm friends with, sometimes we'll get into fights over text. And that became very stressful because nobody knows the context or like, you know, you can't really judge the tone.
And plus, you got to wait for someone to yell back at you.
You're watching the dots. So now what we've done is if that starts to happen.
It's no good.
Yeah, no, I know. But so now I'll call that person and we'll talk it out over the phone instead of the stupid text fighting
a
thing.
great idea. A friend of mine used to use a specific emoji. Because if you're coming off, you know, sometimes you're trying to text something like if maybe you're not happy with something they did or they're not quite happy with something you did, but you're not mad at them.
Yep.
But everything comes off so cold. So we would have this octopus emoji, and it would just be at the end of the text, and that would be a signal that I'm not mad, everything's cool, I love you, but I just want to let you know, like this. Yeah.
That's adorable. I gotta initiate that. That's something that you guys decided on?
Yeah, and I don't even know how, if we both just the little octopus emoji, because there's nothing else that could possibly mean in our mind.
Yeah.
Why else would you be, it's not like a happy face or a high five or, so that was a very specific emoji so that if we were a little bit, you know, but you don't want to sound aggressive over text, but you don't want to put LOL on the end because it's not funny. So that's that like middle tone, just to be like, I love you. This is a little bit bothering me, but don't worry, I'm not mad, but I just want to bring it up.
Oh, I hate that passive-aggressive LOL, too.
Our co-host, Emily, is not here this week. She uses the dancing woman emoji
all the time
for everything. It means
obsessed.
everything. It's like that's what she answers every question with, is the dancing woman emoji.
I said that to her the other day. Like, you were obsessed with that dancing woman.
That is underrated. That's a great emoji.
As far as me, don't call me, don't text me, don't write me. I'm home, I'm busy. All right, let's bring the question over to Selina.
I also just ripped this apart. Do you reuse these?
No.
Okay.
What was your other one? Actually, tell us after.
Okay, well, just in case she gets it.
Oh. Okay. Excuse me. Sweet or salty popcorn?
Ooh,
That's a specific one.
that's pretty specific.
Do I have to choose between them? Because I would do sweet and salty.
Ooh, both.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sweet and salty.
So how does that work? Like it's all mixed in there together?
Oh, completely. Yeah. Of course. Really good.
Future's now.
Like a salted caramel popcorn.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be awesome.
Yes.
I love salted caramel.
I'd probably go with salty.
Yeah. Dickie?
Salted caramel popcorn. I think I just made it up.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Excellent.
Love that. Best of both worlds.
Right?
Amanda?
I think I do like the sweet sometimes. Sometimes I'll like toss some candy in my popcorn
I do
bag at the
that.
movies. Yeah, so
do
I kind of
Reese's.
get a little bit. Ooh, Reese's is a good one because you get the melty bits. Yeah. Oh, nice. I just usually use like gummy bears or whatever is on the go there. Something with a sugary thing. So not gummy bears because they don't have sugar on them. But you know what I'm saying. But I think I'd go salty because the butter. And I don't think butter, you know what I mean? If I had to choose
Yeah.
salty butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dill pickle seasoning.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh. I don't eat popcorn. It gets stuck in my teeth.
Good answer.
Diggy?
I feel like you just evaded that question. I feel like you just
He
evaded
does this all the time.
How does the texture of a gummy work with popcorn?
Yeah, I'm
seems
intrigued.
Yeah, you know, don't eat them together because it's kind of weird.
Isn't that what you just said to do, though?
Well, you eat them intermittently. Like you eat like a candy and then you eat a popcorn. You know, I wouldn't
You
go
don't just
both textures.
Okay.
Then it's like I wouldn't do both textures at the same time. But like, because then you feel like you want a little sweet, so you eat a couple candies, and then you're like, I want a bit of salty, and then you have a couple popcorn.
Right.
Keeps it interesting, you know, especially if you're watching a boring movie. It helps.
Why are you watching a boring movie?
Exactly.
Look, someone's got to watch the 4-hour cut of Napoleon every second day, all right? So it's me who does it.
Snowboarding or skiing?
Ooh.
Neither.
Neither, no?
Don't do either
Don't do
of
any
those
of that
things.
stuff?
I have no interest in either of those things.
No?
So, yeah.
No, any winter sports over there?
I would choose snowboarding.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to go neither, but maybe skiing. But I'm afraid of both of those things.
We used to go up to White Hills when I was like 19, 20. We'd go to White Hills for the weekend and stay at a hotel and do LSD and go skiing.
Nice.
And one time I decided, maybe I'll I'll get the snowboard that all the kids are on. So I took it up to the top and I fell, and then I just kind of slid the whole way down the hill on it and traded back in for skis. So I guess I'd say skis, but I would never ski now because I'd blow my knees out for sure. I can't take the risk. My friend blew her ACL out one time skiing, and it was like a whole disaster. So not for me. Thank you very much. All right. Make it a good one here.
I hope it's not an either or one.
Oh boy, that one's scandalous.
Okay, you got to hold on to that one.
I'm trying to find a not an either or. Oh boy, so many questions.
I can tell you the one I had. It was good.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
tell us.
wasn't as
While he's
cerebral.
picking his.
It was, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
What? That was a great one.
Let's
Why did you turn that away?
That's going to be my question.
Because I got very
What was
intimidated.
that other stupid one you got?
Texting or calling.
We're going to answer that one now. Then I'm not
was-
even going to draw one. We're going to answer that question that she had.
Do it, yeah.
It was too good though. That was the problem. I was like, I'm not cerebral enough for this right now. You want me to start?
I'll start. This is my question. All right, sure. I was working at a store one time, and there's this guy who worked there. He's a district manager, and he's coming out again. His name was Chris Shepard. Now, he wasn't Pirate DJ Radio Chris Shepard, but every time we saw him, we'd say, "Oh, Chris Shepard, that's crazy." But anyway, that's not the point. The point is I hate his guts, and I would never listen to anything he said. But one day, I was angry about something. He said, "Steve, you got a problem. What you got to do, just control the things you can control and don't worry about the things you can't control. You know, if you can't control it, don't worry about it. The things you can't control, try to control them best you can." I was like, oh, it's pretty good. And I've pretty much done that ever since.
Nice.
That's great advice.
That's crazy, you might say.
That's great advice.
Amanda?
God. See, this is the problem. This is why I didn't go with this question, which is horrible because I'm sure I've gotten lots of great advice, obviously, over my life and career.
We can let you think about it some more, Dickie.
Okay, that sounds good.
One time this guy told me things you can't control.
No, that's the one I just said.
Oh, it was good advice, though.
I gave it to you, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's an
I mean,
advice train. That's great.
I'll take it. That's a good answer. Selena?
To say less and listen more definitely would be one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've received recently, actually, because the more you say, kind of the more trouble you'll get into, or like the more likely you are to like just say something in the moment that like you might regret later. So just like people talk too much, especially over text. Like now in text, you can just be like, blah, 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 or you can just, in my case, I do audio to text when I text. Because again, just looking at my screen is like, so I'm just like, and then I'll boom, hits enter, and I'm like, why did I say all that? Keep it like, just don't say, just with, oh my goodness, sorry.
Why say few word when less word work?
With the multiplication of words is I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. It's actually a Bible verse, and I can't remember it. I failed completely, but it was basically just like the more the words, the more the sin. Basically,
I got kicked out of religion class, and I had to go hang out in the library during religion class.
oh, you bad boy.
Amanda.
Man, what did you look at in the library? I'm curious. Okay. Okay, I think I remember something, which is amazing. It sounds kind of cliche, but whatever. It's true. It really happened.
I believe it.
Okay. No, it's true. I'm telling the truth.
I just said I believe you.
Now I feel like I'm really making myself sound like I'm not telling the truth. But no, I was thinking, because I was trying to think of something work-related, and I couldn't really think of anything. But my dad gave me advice once that could, I realized that is work-related. Not that it has to be. And you'll probably edit this out, right? This
Probably
rambling bit? Okay.
It's already edited out.
It was sort of like a say yes type of mentality. So he was an entrepreneur. So he tried all kinds of different things growing up, different businesses and stuff like that. And he basically said, don't wait until you can do the thing to agree to do the thing. So it was sort of like, okay, someone wants you to edit a video, for example, and you've got time. Say yes, sure, I'll give that a shot, and then you learn how to edit that video and you do it. Like if you have to wait till you know how to do everything before you say yes to things, you'll end up not doing things.
What was it again? Don't wait to what?
Don't wait
don't wait until you can fully do the thing to say yes to the thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If that makes sense. I'm sure there's a way
That's pretty
more
much my whole life.
eloquent way
I pretty
to
much just
say
tell
it.
people I can do things, and then when I go to do them, I just learn how to do them.
I'm like that too.
It's good. I mean, it might not be great advice because that could really bite you in the butt.
Well, except for the
Yeah.
job that just hired me, the things I told them I could do, I can definitely do.
Okay. In case they're
In case
watching.
they're listening.
Yeah.
Of course, always. But yeah, I think the sense of it though was basically don't limit yourself and challenge yourself and sort of like, you know, it's okay. Like trust yourself maybe in a way, because I think a lot of times we tell ourselves we can't do a thing,
Yeah.
but we can do the thing. It's not that, you know, oftentimes we make things way more harder and then you miss out on all these opportunities. So he was, you know, a lot of what he did, he was like, yeah, I said I could do it. And then he figured out how to do it. And then he did the thing and he got
Amazing.
really, you know, so I was like,
I find the best way to be easy on myself is to be hard on Dickie.
It's true. He is so hard on Dickie all the time.
All right. Well, that's about all the time we have for tonight. Amanda Mews, thank you so much for joining us.
thank you so much. This has been so fun.
A big thanks to Selina Boland for that wonderful performance.
Beautiful.
We got some gifts here for you. We'll get you to sign this after, and we'll put it on the wall. And then we got some books here for you. It's one for you.
Oh my God.
And I want to pass one over there, Dickie.
yeah.
Watch your headset.
Exciting.
This is volume 1, I believe you folks got, of scenes from my 1996 high school agenda. That one covers the O.J. Simpson trial. It covers when Dennis Rodman got traded to the Bulls. When I failed my driver's license test. It's all in there.
All
That's
equally
amazing.
world-changing events.
Do we have any CDs, Dickie?
Also,
No,
what is
no.
this? Oh, look at this.
This is so cool.
We're going to get you to sign that after, and we'll put it on the autograph wall here behind me.
That's great. I had a big allergic reaction today, so my face doesn't look like this today, but thank you. I'm glad that this is how you're going to remember me.
All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks with writer and director Deanne Foley and musical guest Rachel Cousins. We'll probably have something for you next week as well, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might just like read old obituaries from the 80s or something.
That'd be fun.
We'll put something together. A big thank you to the Resource Center for the Arts at the Ellis Pugh Hall. If you've got something to say, hulk@hulkshow.com. For Amanda, Selina, Dickie, and the missing Emily, I'm the Hulkster. Thanks for watching The Hulk Caesar Show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.